I thought I was doing the right thing by helping my brother get a babysitter and giving my sister-in-law a job, but now my husband's accusing me of using and abusing her. Posted by you/Stara Tessiu. I, 27F, and my husband, 27M, just had an argument, if you could call it that. So, my brother just got a job, and it's great, except he was thrown into single fatherhood immediately after. He has a daughter, my niece, who is about 6 months old, and he has no one to babysit her while he works, as the mother suddenly isn't in the picture. He called me, asking if I could watch the baby during the week while he works, only for a few weeks, since he knows I'm a stay-at-home mom myself. I would have said yes, but I can't. I'm pregnant and have 2 young kids of my own, one of whom does school from home, and I have to do it with her. We're still getting the hang of it because we just moved. By the time I'd be prepared for that, he wouldn't need the help anymore. He understood and asked if I knew anyone personally who could help because he was out of people to ask and wanted to try to avoid daycares as he didn't trust them. He said he would pay and cover everything, but he just urgently needed someone, and I said I'd ask around. I don't really have friends, and I don't know many people in general, as I'm very introverted. But my sister-in-law, 25F, lives with us and had just told me how she needed a job and money, so I proposed the idea to her. She immediately agreed, so I put her and my brother in a group chat to talk, and I also brought my brother over to the house to have a face-to-face talk about it. Now, they're not strangers, of course, they've met before, so it wasn't awkward. They talked about the baby, what was needed, etc. My brother didn't have a long-term plan mapped out right then since everything was so abrupt, but my sister-in-law was understanding and said she'd be okay with whatever, and that was that. I'm not sure of other details, as they text on their own and it isn't really my deal, it was up to them. But ultimately, it came down to my brother Ubering my sister-in-law to his house early in the morning and then dropping her off at home and seeing how things go, which she agreed to. Everything seemed fine until the day of. My husband came into our room and blindsided me with all these complaints on her behalf. He said my sister-in-law hadn't eaten since the morning, that she wasn't comfortable and was tired, that she didn't even need to be there because other people were home and could have watched the baby, and that they only gave her $100, etc. I was confused, because I spoke to my sister-in-law while she was there to check on her, and she said everything was fine. So I told him she hadn't said any of those things to me, and I asked her, and she said she wasn't complaining to him. I said to him bluntly, "So she is not complaining, you are complaining for her," and he said, "Yes." I told him I was confused because he was throwing it all at me as if it's my responsibility, and that my sister-in-law and my brother are 2 adults who made their own deal, that was up to her, and she agreed to it. Nobody was forcing her. If she was uncomfortable or anything, all she had to do was say it. He continued to repeat the complaints and said, "Do I have to get involved?" I told him the deal doesn't involve him, or me, for that matter, and I don't understand why he's the only one upset here when it has nothing to do with him. They are adults. He told me he can't even have a conversation with me and left the room. I'm genuinely confused. Am I missing something here? My sister-in-law is also confused as to why he even got worked up to begin with. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. This is so weird to me. Why is he so concerned about his sister? She needed a job, you got her one. If she worked for a regular employer, would he call her boss and complain for her? What does he expect his pregnant wife to do? I don't know, man, this whole thing is just strange to me. Do I need to get involved? No, you need to cut the cord, weirdo. Ops response. Yeah, I mean, he threw it at me like he was trying to make it seem like I don't care about my sister-in-law or like something was my fault that I needed to correct, but he was the only one upset. My sister-in-law says she never complained, so I just don't get why I'm the bad guy in this argument. Commenter. I wish I could give you better advice besides telling him to mind his own beeswax, but that's all it is. If it's going to be an issue, the only people who are going to suffer are your brother, who can't work, and your sister, who needs money. I don't know what he wants you to do, girl, besides having him pay her an exorbitant amount of money to watch a 6-month-old. Or should he also pay for her to eat while he pays for her rides to and from, which, again, a normal employer would not. They're family, but not family at the same time, so if he wants her to get paid more, then maybe he should find her a ride, and whatever your brother spends weekly on Uber, he can instead give to her. But it seems like your husband will be unhappy either way, unless your sister-in-law just quits, which seems like that's what he wants. Unless the sister-in-law is lying and really did complain, it's like, what the heck, dude? Ops response. I flat out asked him, what is it that you want? What do you want to happen? And he said, it's not about what I want. I said, but you're the only one complaining, and he got mad, trying to make it seem like I'm being inconsiderate. I'm so confused. And I wasn't even rude about it. Commenter. Girl, take you, your babies, and your sister-in-law, and get y'all some ice cream and go see a movie. Don't invite him. Sounds like he's just being difficult for the sake of being difficult. You don't need that stress. You just tried to help her, and if he can't see that, then that's on him. If he takes it up with your brother, then let him. Warn your brother that this may become an issue so he can start looking for other childcare options. Your husband sounds like he just has some beef with your brother, maybe it's underlying. But he's pushing this for no reason, and that's super sketchy to me. Ops response. And even then, that would confuse me. We moved to our new house about a week ago, and my brother is the one who helped my husband and me move. They loaded and moved all the furniture and everything together, just the two of them, zero beef. He even gave my brother a few extra bucks to thank him for helping out. I just don't get it. Update 2 days later. So, since I spoke with my sister-in-law and husband separately and got nowhere, I finally got the chance to sit them down together. I was calm and respectful the entire time. I flat out said, okay, so in regards to the babysitting gig, what's going on? What issues are there, and where are they coming from? My husband made a scoffing sound and looked annoyed but didn't speak up. So I turned to my sister-in-law and asked her bluntly, do you have any complaints, concerns, or problems with the arrangement you and my brother made for the babysitting? She said, absolutely not. I asked her, are you sure? Did you say anything to husband's name that says otherwise? It's completely fine if you did, but you have to speak up for yourself and talk about it, even to me, if not my brother. She said, I honestly have no issues and I didn't complain to anybody, I swear. Then we looked at my husband. She told him that she was fine with the arrangements and had no complaints, then she asked him why he had made a scene for no reason. He got defensive and said, nobody said you were complaining. It just doesn't make sense to me, there's no point in you doing it and it's not convenient. Are you even getting paid good? I sat there trying to understand why he was getting so defensive, and my sister-in-law shot back at him, telling him it wasn't his business, and it didn't have to make sense to him, echoing exactly what I'd said in the first place, that it had nothing to do with him, and that she didn't appreciate him doing this without a good reason. He said he does have a reason, and when we asked what the reason was, he said, because it doesn't make sense to me. I calmly asked him which part didn't make sense to him, and why he was so bothered by it when it does not affect his/our daily life in any way, that it didn't have to make sense to him because it isn't his arrangement, and he got angry. He stood up from his seat, rambling something about how we were ganging up on him, and that we weren't going to make him the bad guy, and that nobody listens. My sister-in-law and I just looked at him while he rambled, and she was just as lost as I was. Very calmly, I asked him what he wanted out of this and why he kept trying to involve himself when my sister-in-law clearly said she is happy with the agreement. He said, nobody effing uses their brain around here but me, I guess, and walked out. I don't know about you all, but I'm no tail kisser and I definitely wasn't about to chase after him or baby him. He was being completely ridiculous, in my opinion. So we let him go and that was it. About an hour later, he came back and started saying things under his breath, like, my own wife just let me walk out and she doesn't even care about me, and it's just F me, I guess, I just don't matter, while sighing and dragging it out. I ignored all of it, and he came into the room and said, so you have nothing to say to me? And I was like, nope. We tried to address things and you decided to storm off, so that's that. I think you're being dramatic and that's a you problem. He then called me inconsiderate and selfish and left. I don't know what I'm supposed to do there or what he's expecting, but there's the update. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. He thinks your brother is taking advantage of his sister's kindness. He may not trust or like your brother. He may worry they'll develop a romantic relationship. Either way, he needs to grow the F up and use his grown-up words. I have zero tolerance for grown men who throw temper tantrums. Ops response. I can't gauge it at all, and at this point, I don't even care because it's just ridiculous. We are all adults. My brother pays my sister-in-law handsomely, even covering her rides to and from home. Aside from texting about the baby or the arrangement, they don't really talk. And my sister-in-law is an open lesbian. I tried to ask him nicely instead of being rude and invalidating whatever his problem was, but he couldn't even handle that. I'm so over it that I don't even care what his problem is anymore. Commenter. But I care, I'm nosy and want to know exactly how ridiculous he's being, Lamau. Second update 2 days later. Hello once again. I know a lot of you are wanting to know what's happened. With all the support from you guys, I feel I do owe you that. Things have happened, and I needed time to be alone, gather myself, and process. My husband kept on with the attitude, the side comments under his breath, and just being weird. I gave no reactions and ignored it because I have better things to give my energy to, like my pregnancy and my 2 children. Anyway, I was cleaning, and my husband decided to confront me and ask me, "Why are you acting this way?" I was confused. I asked him what he meant, and he said I'm being a way towards him, and I simply told him I absolutely will not coddle him for an attitude that doesn't make sense for him to have. He got upset, rambling something about how, as his wife, it should matter to me that he's upset, and I said I have done nothing to him. I gave him chances to explain what was wrong and he didn't, so it's not my responsibility to fix whatever it is. He said this was all my fault, and I asked him what is my fault? I've done nothing but take care of our kids and our home, as well as him. I told him that he made no sense, that nobody did anything to him, not me, not my brother, not my sister-in-law, no one, that I wasn't going to deal with his attitude at all, and that he could find somewhere else to stay if he wasn't going to cut it out. He sat down and said, "That's what I'm talking about," saying that my lack of giving a crap and my no-nonsense attitude are upsetting to him. I asked him why I would want to put up with BS, especially while pregnant, and why that would bother him. He started all this drama over something that had nothing to do with him. And then it came. He took a deep breath and broke down with confession after confession. He admitted he had an affair. He admitted that he had installed a camera in our home without telling me in hopes I'd do something stupid so he could use it as defense, and that he figured out the woman he cheated with knew my brother, which is why he freaked out about my sister-in-law working for him. He admitted he started drama to create an argument on purpose to give himself a reason to feel justified, and my calm reactions to everything made that impossible for him. It bothered him that I never did anything wrong because he had done something wrong and couldn't shift the blame. I could barely react. I kind of just looked at him. My stomach was hurting. I just couldn't wrap my brain around any of it. He told me he was sorry, that he's a piece of crap and he doesn't know why he did it, that he loves me, and I just told him to stop talking. I calmly said to remove whatever camera he installed and to find somewhere else to stay. He cried and begged, and I shut it down. He asked if I was going to tell my sister-in-law. Excuse me? You're worried about me telling people or what other people are going to think of you instead of worrying about the effing damage you've just done to our family? He left, but wouldn't stop calling me, trying to talk. Suddenly he wants to have a conversation, huh? How funny. I put my phone on silent and went to play with my kids, trying to be normal to shield them from it. I didn't want them to see me upset. I was broken up on the inside, had a scare, I kept having sharp pain in my stomach, and then I started to bleed. I was effing terrified. I thought I'd lost the baby. My family helped me out, I got to the hospital, and the baby is okay. I guess it was just the stress being too much. After everything settled, I got home, put my kids to bed, and cried it out. We've been together since we were like 15. I've never cheated on him, ever. We're approaching 30, like what type of crap is that? I've never had a trust issue with him before. I'm not a phone snooper, I just don't do things like that, and I didn't have a reason to. He's never behaved like this before. Maybe he has cheated before and I just don't know about it. I don't even care to know. One time is enough for me. I want a divorce. I will be fair about it. I will not turn our children against him. I won't drag it. But I am done. Thank you for listening. /relevant comments. Commenter. The millisecond I read he's picking fights with no justification, I said out loud, he's having an affair. Well, how the turntables. Commenter 2. My mind didn't go to an affair, but I knew he was guilty of something. I think the mention of the fact that he didn't think his sister was getting paid enough shifted my mind to he lost his job and has been racking up debt. But an affair makes just as much sense. Commenter 3. Yeah, he wanted a reason to make you the villain, so he could say, well, she acted like this or spoke to me like this, that's why I cheated, etc. I'd tell everyone and let your brother know about the woman he knows who is screwing your husband. I'd block his number and use your sister-in-law as the go-to when he needs to come and collect the kids for visitation. I know it's hard, but don't take him back. This man tried to manipulate you into being the villain so he could justify screwing another woman. Commenter 4. You summed it up perfectly. He wanted to rewrite the story so he could be the victim, but the truth came out anyway. No excuses, no justifications, just pure betrayal. She deserves so much better than a man who tried to gaslight her into taking the blame for his choices. Editor's note. Op deleted her account sometime after her final update, so I don't think there will be any follow-ups to this story unless it's months later, after the divorce, and she makes a new throwaway.